Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Anisa Tasha binti Muhammad Nasir and my metric number is BTCL 200594454. As we can see, this is a flowchart. Flowchart is a step-by-step approach to solve a problem. So the diagram there is to represent a workflow or process of the program, which means it will show how the program works. So this part is used to declare variable and also assign value for variable. Then for this part is the condition for the counter to count whether the question has met the requirement or not. If it is true or reach the last question, it will perform an action for odd operation which determine whether the number is odd or not, and their score will display to the user. If it falls or does not reach the last question, it will also perform the same action as true, but it will not display the message. Next is the condition for even operation. It will also perform the same as odd operation, but only differ in operation formula. And this is pseudocode. Pseudocode consists of short English phrases which are used to explain specific tasks within a program. So basically, I can tell pseudocode is an easy language that can be understood by everyone just by reading it. This is the code for the program that I create. The first is to import Java package into a class. The first line is used to generate a string of pseudo-random number, while the second line is to create a dialog box that can appear on the computer desktop to request input from user or display message to the user. Second is the static variable. The static variable will get the memory only once. If any object change the value of the static variable, it will retain its value. So for score, each correct answer will add 1, and for count, it will count the number of the question, which means it will retain the current value. So 3 is a method to generate random number. I use this class to generate random number. First, I have to create an instance for this class, then invoke methods such as nextInt. So it can pass argument to the method for placing an upper bound on the range of number to be generated. For example, nextInt 100, which is it will generate number in range 0 to 99 both inclusive. Net is a string value of, which is this method return the string representation of int argument. So in this method, it has different version for each type of argument. So as we can see here, this is for odd operation. So first, count equal to count plus 1 is used to count question every time the button is pressed. And the second one is parser int, which is a method that used to convert a string to integer, because LBL number is a random number and it will convert to integer for odd even operation. So if counter equal to 10 is a condition for counter to determine whether it reached 10 question or not. So if it reached 10 question, it will calculate for the last number. So if num modulus 2 does not equal to 0, which means it has a remainder, then it will be odd number. So if user click the odd button, it will have an increment on score. So the score will appear on screen and new number generate. And if it's not an odd number, it will generate a new number and the message will be displayed on the last question. So the user can see the score at the end of the question. Then the value will be reset after the score. So if the number does not reach the last question, it will also perform the same operation as before, and it will repeat until it reach last question and the message will display to the user. So this is even number operation. It is the same as odd number operation, but it only differs in formula. So for even number, the formula will be num modulus 2 equal to 0. So that means in this operation there will no remainder. And the rest is the same, which is when user click the right button, the score will add by 1 and it will display the message at the end of the question. So lastly is variable declaration. So this is the component that contained in graphical user interface or known as GUI. So here's some footage how the game works. Last but not least is relationship between interface and coding. So the interface serves as an element that allows users to communicate and interact with operating system. And the coding or the instruction in the operating system will tell the computer how to perform the program that requested by the user. So in other words, both interface and coding is complement to each other to understand their tasks respectively.